President Dodik is a leader on the run. He says the global elite have targeted him, punishing his refusal to let foreign forces reshape Bosnia's judiciary. Now the pressure, well, it's gone global. Interpol has just issued a red notice, turning a political standoff into an international pursuit. But with over 65% approval at home and a defiant message to his critics, he's not running. He is digging in.
Basically, the globalist liberal elite in the world, the one that working on destroying the entire world, and we can see them maybe in the best and most famous way through the Biden's administration, the people of the Biden's administration that who didn't respect any of our customs. They brought this German citizen and says he is a high representative. In Dayton Peace Accords, it says that if you are even high representative in the form of that function, you need to be confirmed by the UN Security Council, and that doesn't exist. It wasn't confirmed by UN Security Council. So this is the old Biden's administration structure and the swamp, the globalist swamp of Brussels, of institutions of Brussels, and they don't accept even President Trump. And I can just say that basically those remnants of the ex-administration, those who were appointed by the ex-administration, they are leading those processes right now against me and in this case. What we have today and what's the scene here is that we have foreigners in our Supreme Court that can be appointed by itself. And also we have a high representative, the office, that proclaim that they can introduce new laws, even it's not in our constitution, it's nowhere. They just issue a decree and says who goes against it, it's against the law of Bosnia and Herzegovina. When I arrived to Israel on Wednesday, I arrived normally with no international red warrant or anything, a red notice warrant. And they found out that I'm in Israel on this conference. And this morning they issue the basically arrest warrant through the Interpol and to make it. I basically just found out through their media. They first go to the media and I didn't even receive anything officially. I just saw it as a public news already. Those people who now issue those arrest warrants are the same people who are supporting right now Hamas in Sarajevo and those terrorist attacks. How that works is basically they use from the beginning a step-by-step approach in which they introduce some new body that was almost like an NGO body, and then they start giving it more power. So now, 30 years later, where we are, these, especially the Office of the High Representative, they assume the control in the form that they can issue a directive, and then the judiciary system needs to obey that. So the thing is that they also decided to obey and use it because many of these prosecutors and judges are also composed of the Muslims. So they just, in my case, also started this procedure after the man who represents himself as a high representative issued that who doesn't obey his orders are committing a criminal offense in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So in the Constitution, there is no such a thing as an Office of High Representative, but there is an Office of the President of the Serbian Republic. So this non-existent office now issued an order for my persecution for the office that exists in the Constitution, and also the Supreme Court of Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's not in the Constitution. This is possible. How can that be? That a foreigner can come to your country and just saying to the system of the judiciary, you need to obey my decisions without even any legal framework. Basically, they don't want to bring one specific person. They just want to, to bring people that can change quickly, and they don't have any power influence in the nation. So what's happened is I supported during the first election, I supported President Trump before he was elected, and they then decided when he was elected, but before the transition, to issue the sanctions. That's the beginning. So the previous administration issued a sanction, and now they continue that in that shape and form. So what's happening now are basically the remnants of the old structure administration through the U.S. Embassy that are acting. Is that he is putting a jeopardy into the Dayton Peace Accord, that he is putting the peace in Bosnia and Herzegovina into some type of jeopardy, which is a lie. There's no conflict in Bosnia. Very simple for you to understand. When President Trump says that the ex-Biden administration caused a huge harm to the people of the United States, you can just imagine how much more of evil they cause to places like Bosnia and Herzegovina. So we have many friends in Europe. Many political parties are supporting us. We are close friends. Alternative for Germany, Freedom Party from Netherlands, and especially the government of the Prime Minister Viktor Orban from Hungary. So we have friends and they're supporting us and understanding us, but the problems are very difficult. So my main problem right now is that we have a German citizen who at this moment is trying to present himself as a high representative, but he wasn't confirmed. And another thing is that this man that claims that he is a legal high representative who is now in Sarajevo, is receiving 26,000 euros per month of salary for his services, mostly financed from the funds of the US aid. So he basically, as we said before, he introduced this new law in which he says, who doesn't obey me, then he's a criminal. And then the Muslim courts and the judicial system take this as a legal framework and saying he's not representing, supporting the decisions of the high representative. So this is a criminal act. You cannot go against it. And there is no such a thing as not obeying the high representative in any of the Bosnian laws or constitution, only in his decree that he issued and send them to the prosecution and the judiciary system. I just said, but I cannot respect in that form or shape a man who doesn't have a mandate of UN to be a high representative. And that is my blame. That's all my blame. I won more than 10 election cycles in a row. I can tell you that I can win another 10 times. But now what they issued also, it's a permanent ban from being a candidate for the next elections because of that. They said, according to this verdict now, that I'm banned from the political office for the next 6 years, and probably going to just expand that through the judiciary system in the further. My problem is because I became a strong leader in my nation, and they don't like those people. That's why they done everything they could to make life miserable for President Trump before. And now they're just doing that to me and to all of these people. The last polls says that we're above 65% of the citizens. If I was at 10%, I will not have this problem for sure.